Hello, and thanks for joining today's webinar. We're going to be talking about relief for the harried stack owner, how Real Story Group can help you make the right technology decisions. My name is Scott Dill. I'm on the business development team here with Real Story Group, and our managing director, Jarrod Gingras, is going to be jumping on the line momentarily to take us through the heart of today's presentation. So for those of you that are new to Real Story Group, we certainly welcome you and appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us. And obviously for our subscribers, thanks for being customers of ours. You know, your loyalty is certainly what keeps us going as an organization, and we appreciate that. But if you are new to us, I do want to point out that we're different than typical analyst firms that you may be familiar with, as we don't rank who's the best and who's the worst vendor, but rather we like to take the approach of which is going to be the right fit for what it is that you're trying to do. And with that in mind, we take a different approach in terms of how we work with vendors, in that we don't work with vendors, okay? So we don't speak at their conferences or write white papers for them in any way. Our only focus is on helping technology users and buyers find the right technology products for their particular needs. And so today we're going to focus around the MarTech stack. It's a conversation that we've been having quite a bit recently with our customers, and I'm going to introduce you to Jarrod Gingras, who's going to take us through the rest of today's session. Jarrod?
Hey, thanks, Scott, and thank you all for taking some time. We appreciate it. Today we're going to do something pretty straightforward. The agenda is, as you can see, pretty simple, but we're going to start by talking about two massive trends that are really impacting many of our customers that we're speaking to on a daily basis, as well as talk about ways that we have structured our offerings at Real Story Group to respond to these massive trends. This is a very interesting time we're living in right now, and I'm sure many of you are feeling the impact of these trends that I'm about to discuss, and it's caused us to shift as an organization. And I think you know, I see many subscribers on the line today that I know many of you we've had some of these conversations, and we continue to evolve our offering to help you face some of the challenges that you're facing on a daily basis, and we hope this resonates with you. So let's jump right into the two massive trends. Trend number one, you know, we've been talking about this quite a bit, as Scott mentioned recently, and that's the omni-channel desires of organizations in today's technology environments. We've heard people talking about delivering omni-channel experiences to their constituents over and over again for many, many years. But in 2019, omni-channel has risen in its head again, and everyone wants to start to deliver consistent experiences across every single touch point. And while the desires are there, what we're hearing from our subscribers and customers is that people and organizations are really struggling to deliver a true omni-channel experience. Now, you might be able to deliver consistent experiences across multiple channels, but true omni-channel across all of your touch points is the ultimate goal, and something that is really difficult to do in many people's environments. And one of the biggest barriers to that is the way you've constructed your marketing stacks. And you know, what I have on the screen now is kind of the traditional technology stack that many organizations have evolved to in 2019. And this is one where you're trying to reach your constituents in social channels, email channels, web channels, mobile, print, video, voice. You know, and this is just a smattering of channels, and may not be representative of all of your channels, but you want to deliver that consistent experience where anyone is interacting with you and your brand. Now, what's happened is your marketers primarily are working within those boxes at the bottom here, what we call the content and engagement management services. You know, you might have some salespeople primarily working within your CRM system and using that as a reference to people who call into your call centers. You have marketers working within your social engagement and social publishing tools to reach people via a variety of social applications and channels. You have people who are responsible for working on email communications. You have your web team working within your web CMS system, and you have digital asset managers who are trying to house your assets across the enterprise to then power these different tools. Now, while these systems all grew up as well-intentioned applications, what's happened kind of logically is that these systems have become silos in and of themselves. And so it's difficult to create a cross-channel and, obviously truly omni-channel message when you have content residing in each one of these 5 systems. So it's very difficult, and it's becoming a major headache for many stack owners out there. So that brings us to kind of the big trend that we're seeing is some of the most forward-thinking, bleeding edge companies out there have started to say, well, this isn't good enough. We need to think more enterprise-wide. We need to put in place some enterprise foundation services that separate our content and data and move it further down our stack so that we're able to then use that data and that content as building blocks to create truly omni-channel experiences. And so what's happened is there's some new technology out there that caters to be this foundational layer. We talk about content platforms to be your definitive object store for base themes and assets. We have customer data platforms to be that 360-degree definitive prospect and customer view. We talk about pulling rules out of your web content management system and out of your email systems and pushing them down in the stack and creating journeys in journey orchestration engines and journey orchestration decision tools to be able to create rules as to how people should interact with your content, regardless of which channel they go to and which sequence that happens. And as well as pushing analytics and identity and access management services down in your stack as truly foundational elements. So this is something that's happening. This is a trend that your organizations may be thinking about today, and if they're not thinking about it, they will, because this is one of the biggest trends that we've witnessed over the 18 years we've been following these spaces, and it's truly one that's top of mind for every single subscriber that we speak to in today's world. So again, what achieving true omni-channel means is that you need to move key services lower in that stack, right? And here's just a way to hammer this home a little bit. You're still going to have your content and engagement management services, but those tend to be the places that you want to keep things channel specific. And you want to move the core stuff, the core data, the core content, your core insights, your orchestration as to what the rules are as people move and engage with you through a variety of different channels, your personalization rules, your operational collaboration within your marketing and other teams, and you want to push those down further in your stack to be able to truly use those as the building blocks to creating those experiences that you would like to achieve. So if that's trend number one that we're seeing happening, lots of new technologies coming in here, lots of vendors trying to be your omni-channel vendor to a degree that is just not possible. We often say there is no to achieve true omni-channel, you're not going to get that from one single vendor or one single platform. You're going to need to do this right. You need to create the optimal omni-channel stack. Okay. And as you might imagine, with all these vendors trying to compete to be part of that stack, there's just this huge explosion of vendor options. I'm sure everyone on this call has seen this from Chief MarTech. We were out at the conference in California a few weeks back, where the 2019 version of the MarTech 5000, and I put the MarTech 5000 in quotes because there's now over 7,000 logos on the MarTech 5000, which is kind of funny, but there's more choices than ever for today's technology stack owner. And so I'd like to introduce you to a persona that we use internally here, and we call this persona Stacey. Stacey, the stack owner. Now, I see some of you on the calls today. You know, you're current subscribers of the Real Story Group, and I know some of you are the Stacey in your organization. But really, when we talk about Stacey, we talk about the people within organizations that own or manage the stack. And your everyday consists of defining service boundaries. You know, what system is should be responsible for what, and where are the boundaries there, and where does one system end and another begin. You're constantly rationalizing different tool sets within the organization. You're constantly being asked by your colleagues about new technologies that they're seeing, and you're trying to say, where are the true gaps in our organization, and where are the true redundancies in our organization, and making those decisions. And this conversation is not getting easier. There's so much information out there. There's so many new vendors that come on the market every day. There's so many old vendors that are expanding their functionality sets every day. And there's so many confusing sales and marketing messages to go along with that it's really hard for Stacey to keep track of this. And so, to help Stacey, we've adjusted our product set here at Real Story Group and kind of shaped it into 3 different subscription offerings to try to help Stacey in her day-to-day battle of staying current and making the right decisions for her organization. So I'm going to take you through these 3 offerings really quickly here. Number 1 is vendor selection advisory. Now, this isn't really a new product for us. This is kind of our bread and butter. What we've long been known for is helping organizations pick the right technology for what it is you're trying to do. But with regard to Stacey, I think it's important to realize that there's a lot of vendors out there, but all these vendors are not created equal. So when you look at that MarTech 5,000 or 7,000 logo landscape, if you will, you know, the thing that graphic doesn't tell you is which vendors are more important than others. And what we try to talk about on an ongoing basis is you need to figure out which of these tools were fundamentally built to achieve the use cases that your organization is trying to achieve. You know, we follow a little over 150 different products from over 100 different vendors, and are evaluating them on their strengths, but maybe more importantly, on their weaknesses. So if you're looking to figure out what product is the right one for you, I encourage you to look at the research that we're producing. And to help you in that quest, we've produced this tool called the Real Quadrant Shortlist Generator. This is the tool designed to give you a custom quadrant that bubbles up the products that were fundamentally a better fit than others for what you tell us are most important to your organization. So we want you to pick a marketplace, choose the scenarios that are most important to you, give them some weightings as to how important each scenario is in your environment, and then we'll match that up to the ratings that we've given these tools and help you really hone in on the products that are the potential best fits for your needs. And the key to the Real Quadrant is that this isn't a single snapshot view of a marketplace. This isn't the same quadrant that everyone sees. This is a quadrant that is custom built to what you told us is most important to you. And from there, I want you to do your due diligence even further. I want you to compare these tools and compare and contrast these tools as to their suitability to these different scenarios, as well as a series of vendor intangibles to be able to see which ones most align with your needs. And then our research is designed to help you drill in even further so that you're able to see the true strengths of these products, but maybe more importantly, the true weaknesses, because the weaknesses is what's missing from all these sales and marketing tools that you get bombarded with on a daily basis. And we think that's our role in this industry, is to highlight the weaknesses of these tools, to show you all, you know, where isn't these tools a good fit. You know, where are you going to be really struggling to get these things to provide benefit for your organization? And we'll pass along the experiences of others that we've encountered in our research who have really struggled with those those particular use cases and pass along that information back to you so that you don't make the same mistakes that they did. So number two offering in our subscription packages that they're talking about today is our Omnichannel Stack Advisory, and this is where we talked about that trend number one, where everyone is rethinking their omnichannel technology stack. We are really putting to paper a lot of the lessons that we're learning when working with our subscribers and that we're learning in our research and what these vendors are truly capable of delivering. And we're helping organizations make the decisions around where are the gaps in your technology stack to be able to deliver the true omni-channel experiences that you'd like to deliver, and where are the redundancies in your architectures. So we tend to talk about it as looking at your MarTech Mall. You know, again, going back to that logo landscape where there's 7,000 logos on a screen. The key to that is they're not all the same weightings, right? You're going to have your anchor stores, and you're going to have your medium-sized stores. You're going to have your boutique stores. You're going to have your shopping your carts in the aisles, and what the exercise that we've been working with our clients with on a pretty regular basis here is figuring out what your anchor stores should be. Now, in this graphic, we've identified 5, but those might not be the 5 that are best for you. Each organization is different and we've put together some reference models to help you make these decisions and help you learn from others and really understand what are the core pieces that we need to put in place so that we're able to do some experimentation with other vendors that are invariably going to come along and be attractive to delivering the right experiences to our constituencies along the way. So as part of this stack advisory, you know, some of the things that we're doing is certainly helping our clients determine, do you have the right tools in place? And maybe more importantly, do you have the right architecture in place? What you get here is a mixture of research. So you get all of our omni-channel research. You get the selection tools we talked about in package number 1. We're going to talk about how you can build the business case for truly enterprise-wide foundational services. We're going to really hone in on what are the gaps that you have to getting to where you want to get to in the short, medium, and long term. We're going to help you rationalize competing and overlapping tool sets. And we're going to help you draw the lines between the various clouds and technologies that you might already have in place and set some rules in place for where one technology begins and one technology should end. And we're going to help you answer those questions that you're invariably being bombarded with on a daily basis from your colleagues who are saying, well, have you heard about this tool? And what about this tool? And what about this webinar that we just attended around this new tool that looks like something that we should get that might help us? And you'll be able to say, no, we already have that in-house, or if not, maybe we decide that it is something you'd like to explore. And so we want to be your on-call wing person, if you will, to help you answer these questions. And this type of research, and advice and reference models, all become part of that package where we're able to be there as needed and help you fight those battles. So in addition to the research that is applicable to all these different omni-channel technologies, you get the real Quadrant Shortlist tool. You'll get stack reference models that we think are applicable to your situation. For some customers, we're even doing custom research projects or vendor assessments for technologies that we haven't already covered. You know, we have clients asking us about new vendors that they encountered at a conference, or they're getting calls from their salespeople and say, you know, could you do an assessment based on your methodology on vendor XYZ? And we say yes. So we can build that in and give you some quick take based on our methodology, our rubrics, and help you make some smart decisions on new technologies as well. We can also help you do RFPs and Ds, which are requests for proposals and demos. We can review ones that you've had. We do these all the time, so we can give you some best practices with regards to those kind of things. We can help you validate shortlists that you might come up with. We can identify vendors that we think you might be wasting your time with, and suggest others that you might be missing on your shortlist. As well as as part of this service, we'll do quarterly check-ins with you and use our benchmarking tools to put a stake in the ground as to where you are today and really show how you are moving the needle with regards to improvements across a variety of different criteria as you make these decisions and improve your technologies, your processes, and content structures as you go forward. And that brings us to our third level of offering. And the third one is something we call our council level membership. And this is probably our newest offering that we've gone to market with. And here, what we're doing is providing everything I talked about in offering number one as it relates to vendor selection, everything that we talked about in number two as it relates to ongoing assistance with regard to technology, architecture, recommendations and assessments. But our council level membership introduces this notion of an in-person leadership council for the Staceys in our customer base. So we'll connect you with your peers so that you can have meaningful, albeit confidential, conversations about what is working and what is not working. So here's what our thought is here. Our next scheduled meeting is for September of 2019, likely in the Boston area. But for those council level members, we'll invite two people from your organization to come to this meeting. It's going to be comprised of primarily Fortune 100 omnichannel stack leaders. And the idea here is we're not going to bombard you with PowerPoint over the few days we spend with each other, but what we want to do is introduce different trends and topics that we're seeing and have you interact with each other so that you're able to learn from your peers. These are conversations that we're having regularly, and people keep asking us, we know that you work with customers of our size and complexity and want us to confidentially connect each other, and we do that on a point-to-point basis, but this is our first time of bringing a larger group together, and I think it's going to be really meaningful. And as part of that, you'll be able to address some tough issues through some peer assistance, as well as you can help guide us through as to what you want to see from us in terms of our research agenda going forward. So we'll be telling you what we're seeing from the analyst point of view. You'll be able to learn from your peers across different industries, and we think it's going to be a really meaningful conversation. For those of you who sign up early, one benefit there is you'll have the first right of refusal for competitor participants. So if you're in the beverage game and you don't want your direct competitor to be at the table, then if you're first in, then you'll have the first right of refusal for future entrants. Now we found in the past that people are really usually pretty open into sharing here, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned regardless of what industry you're in, but that's one benefit of signing up early. So those are our three new package offerings. So vendor selection advisory. This is particularly good if you're in product selection mode. You know which area that you have deficiencies in. A single marketplace that you're looking to really get an in-depth knowledge of and make sure you have the right shortlist. That might be the package for you to start with. The Omnichannel Stack Advisory are for the Staceys out there who are really looking to make sure that you move your architectural stack in the right direction, particularly in the day and age that we're in today, where there's these massive shifts happening in how people structure their architectures. And I think what we're seeing is those organizations that are further along this journey are the ones who are truly being successful, delivering those omni-channel experiences and achieving those desires that they have. And while we see others really having to hack that and bang their heads against the wall to get this to work in even a multi-channel way, let alone true omni-channel. And third, our council level membership, where you get everything on the left, but we also introduced that executive peer network that we're putting together of our Stacey's among our client base. I think we're uniquely positioned to do this, as we're we're the only truly independent analyst firm that adheres to the business model that we do, where we do not work for software vendors. So you'll never get bombarded by software vendors in these councils. You know, we've had the privilege of working with over 4,000 different organizations across the globe, and among those, over 16 of the Fortune 20. So our client base is a bit unique there. So we think that we can bring together, you know, a truly world-class group of Stacey's to the table, so that you can all not only learn from us, but we can all learn from each other. So I hope if any of you on this call have interest in that, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to talk with you and meet with you and discuss how we can foster these conversations in the coming years. So our goal here is, again, we know the Stacey's on this call. We know you're stressed out. We know you're getting bombarded with messages from software vendors. We know you're getting bombarded with questions from your colleagues, and we want to give you that assistance to kind of put a bubble around you in the sense that we can give you the ammunition to answer these questions that you're getting, you know, so that you're able to leverage us, leverage the research, and leverage your peers to truly understand what is the best way forward for your organization. And finally, let's stay in touch. Please reach out with any questions. I know, like I said, a bunch of you on the line are already subscribers, and I thank you for that. For those of you wondering if your organizations are already subscribers, feel free to email us at any time. We'll do a check and let you know what kind of subscription that your organization already has. If you're new to us and want to get a tour of what it means to be a subscriber, we'll give you the behind-the-scenes tour of the Real Story Group environment, so that you can see the tools and research in action. Happy to do that as well. Just reach out. We'll schedule a private call at any time. With that, I want to say thank you all very much for your time, and I hope we get to not only have some remote discussions in the future. I hope to see some of you on the Executive Council, so that we can meet in person starting in September and going forward. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.